Hello and welcome to a Sober James Addiction Recovery live stream podcast here on YouTube. My name is James and I'm a person in recovery from addiction. I do these podcasts and we chat about addiction, recovery, and everything in between. Tonight we're going to be talking about resentments. First, I'm going to discuss what a resentment is according to our Lord and Savior AI, Google. The definition, that is. Then I'm going to give you the origin, not the orgy, of the word resentment. I believe it's French or Latin. I'm going to vape a little and we're going to chill a little and have our tea and have our crumpets and eat them too. I am so happy to be back. Thank you for having me and thank you for coming in. That's what she said. 2 viewers so far. I am back. Sober James is back. I'm a little over 2 years sober from deadly drugs like alcohol, and I do have much news. Please feel free to chat. Let me know you're out there. I am confident that the sound is on point and not popping. And I hope you enjoy it. I have such exciting news. I landed a job out of nowhere, a God thing. I have yet to finish this sentence. I am going to build myself a podcast studio with 2 seats. So I know you love me dearly and you just can't wait to listen to me speak for an hour every night. But I am going to have some guests. This is my plan for 2026, and I'm into following through. There's my girl in the background. My girl. She ain't interested. She's like my old man, not interested. For those of you who are new here, I do this live stream podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do it every night. Because why not? I'm going to tell you about my new job, and I'm going to tell you about many things in this podcast. But first, I would like to, for the viewers that are watching this retroactively, first I would like to define resentment. Resentment is defined as bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. That's bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. Bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. Basically, somebody did you wrong, and you keep resending that memory, which in turn resends emotions. The origin of the term. The term resentment originated in the early 17th century, derived from French ressentir, to feel again, feel pain, which stems from the Latin intensive, again, and sentir, to feel. It literally means to re-feel or repeatedly experience a past injury, pain, or offense. My God. We're going to talk about resentment in addiction recovery and how it affects one's sustainable sobriety. Oh boy, my chat box is all jacked up. Let me fix it. What up, hot boy Ryan? How goes things? Let me just get this. I'm gonna just do it like this. Now, resentment. You've heard the term. For all of you 12-steppers out there, it is said that resentment is the number one offender of the alcoholic trying to recover. Now, I take that to mean now, especially after hearing those definitions I just read, emotions in the alcoholic like myself can trigger behaviors. If you've ever heard of cognitive behavioral therapy, it centers around thought, emotion, behavior. So thoughts are relatively random. We have all kinds of random first thoughts. We are responsible for our second and third thoughts. And cognitive behavioral therapy trains the brains to not assign an emotion to random thoughts. Now, resentments could be that guy or that girl that did you wrong. Maybe somebody knocked your ice cream out of your hand, and for days or even weeks later, you just keep thinking about that person knocking your sweet, sweet frozen treat onto the ground. This is a resentment. You are resending the memory, and by resending the memory, you are resending the feeling that you felt when they did it. I would venture a guess that it's sometimes amplified because our memories are distorted. And biased. You might make that person into a monster in your brain and become even more agitated. So resending emotions to your brain. So this is kind of basic, simple stuff that can be avoided in recovery. Now let me tell you about the reason this live stream is about resentments. And if I don't get some comments, I'm just going to feel all alone out here. So chat it up out there, people. Maybe even hit a skimbledy bims or two. Now, I realize I haven't been around for a minute. And I would say I have my reasons, but it is one single reason. I have been in a relationship. And it has been a spiritual experience. Let me start by saying 2 years ago, I needed to stop drinking after a 6-month relapse. For you regular viewers, you witnessed it because I live streamed and did all kinds of crazy stuff. But I had to stop drinking, but could not. I finally detoxed with, I think it was Ativan, and went back to Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, Alcoholics Anonymous is my conduit for recovery. The program keeps me sober. The 12 steps keep me sober. The meetings keep me focused. But when I went back this time, because in the past 20 years, I've relapsed 4 times. I have, 12 years of sobriety time in the past 20 years with, 4 relapses. So having worked the steps before without God, I came back into the program 2 years ago and asked a former atheist with 15 years sober how he got the God thing. What's wrong with the room you're in now for podcasts? Oh, you're talking about, because I want to make well, first of all, this is a very echoey, big room. Second of all, I have I just redid my floors. And that is part of the entire story, but I have nice floors now in an empty room. And I also would like to upgrade. I know that you guys like this room. I like this room. It's a good room. But, we all must grow. So I'm going to do it. But don't get me off topic. 2 years ago, I found a God of my understanding, did step 3 by handing my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him, one day at a time. It doesn't always happen, and let me tell you why and how. I love mint tea and I love menthol vapes. Let me see something here. So since 1 second. Let me see here. Let them speak, but I'll give you the signal to mute them if necessary. Oh boy. I'm pretty rusty at this YouTube thing. I haven't been doing it for about 7 months. I had myself a situationship. I'll tell you all about it in a nutshell. But here's why we're talking about resentments, because I broke up with her, and it was for some pretty harsh reality reasons. Lying, gaslighting, cheating, and basically using love as a weapon. But, I do have my feelings about it. They keep resending into my brain these memories about recalling moments and lies and very powerful emotions attached to memories. But here's what I realized is that we have a choice. We have a choice to not resend these memories. We have a choice to move on, to let go. Shit happens. I'm not a perfect angel in the relationship either. But it's unfair to hate on old scars or things that have happened in the past. But the most important point is that we don't have resentments because they bring up emotions. Emotions bring up behaviors in the addict. And if you're anything like me, those behaviors can be destructive, diabolical, and downright dirty. So, in this leg of my recovery, which is 2 decades long, I've been recovering from alcoholism with a couple of relapses, but mostly in addiction recovery. This channel has been up since 2018. And thank you for all of you regular viewers that have come along on this journey. But I have not always been good at staving off resentments. I am one to hold grudges. Grudges is resending old hurts and old wrongdoings. And our memories, I've noticed and read about, can be exaggerated, they can be biased, they can be inaccurate, but resentments, it's said in the big book, is the number one fender of the alcoholic, and that is because of emotions. That is because of the emotions that get attached to these memories that you keep bringing up. B.S. Rome, or Hot Boy Ryan, fears the colors won't be as pretty in the new room. Have no fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. This is another thing with resentments. You might resent somebody for something and fear that they might do it again, or fear that you won't be able to handle yourself. You may fear that you'll be like this for the rest of your life. But as long as you're resenting, as long as you're resenting, you're not moving forward, you're not moving on. So for all of you who missed the definition and the origin of resentments, here it is. First, the definition. Resentment, bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. The origin, it originated in the early 17th century, derived from the French ressentir, to feel again, feel pain, which stems from the Latin intensive again, and sentir, to feel. So to re-feel. So all we're doing when we're resenting is re-feeling. Now, resentment in addiction recovery is a major obstacle, often called the number one offender. It blocks peace, triggers emotional turmoil, and leads to relapse. It stems from unresolved anger, past trauma, or perceived injustices. Releasing this toxic, addictive feeling is essential for long-term sobriety, frequently requiring a 12-step inventory, therapy, or forgiveness. 12-step inventory. That's the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous. The fourth step in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is concentrating on resentments, fears, and wrongdoings. What the fourth step does is you get your resentments down on paper. You list how they affected your security, your financial security, your social status, your sexual security, your self-esteem. Then you write down the part that you played. And you start to realize that these resentments, these re-feelings that you keep re-feeling and in turn relapsing over, because resentment is the number one offender of the addict, to resend emotions. It's also said that resenting is addicting. It's a form of addiction. There's little ego dopamine receptors that get triggered when we resent, and we feel better than whomever we're resenting, and so it's almost addictive. It's like a dirty little pleasure to resent. The more and more I look into it, but the fourth step inventory, and the fifth and sixth step, where you admit to God, yourself, and another human being the exact nature of your wrongs, does multiple things that add to your recovery and diminish from your chances at relapse. One of the things is you realize that your problems are coming from your emotions that you are resending over past wrongdoings. Your problems aren't coming at you, they're coming from you. So in the steps 4 through 6, You write down your resentments, figure out the parts you played in it, and you are able to let go and then move on to 7, 8, and 9, where you make a list of people you have harmed and became willing to make amends to them all, and then make amends to them all. So you clean house. This is trusting in God, cleaning house, helping others. That's the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. It is a 12-step program that facilitates a personality change or a paradigm shift, a shift in perspective necessary for recovery from addiction. It brings on peace, serenity, goodwill toward mankind. This, is this a Views? This is a Jewel. This is a Jewel. My now ex vaped these things, and I couldn't get away from them, so I got my own. It's actually quite pleasurable. But as you can tell, working the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, or having practiced this program, daily, in my daily life, allows me to be at peace. Now, I still resent sometimes. I'm human. It was a nasty breakup. We both had our faults. No breakups are really fun, but you tend to resent, point fingers, blame. The good thing about the program of recovery, 12 steps, whether you're a drug addict, heroin addict, any kind of addict, we love to resent. Do you know why that is? It's because our disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful, and it knows if it gets you emotional enough, you will pick up your drug of choice. That's point blank. I'm telling you my experience, and I'm telling you what I know. Our disease wants to kill us. It wants us to be alone. It manipulates you in a relationship with another person to get you alone. I have no doubt that my behaviors in this 7-month relationship were not pristine and white like the driven snow, okay? Neither were hers, but we gave it a try. The tendency to resent what happened and resent and place blame and place bias, sometimes false beliefs, is your addiction at work. Our addiction wants us to resent. It wants us to feel angry, furious, envious, jealous. It wants to get us in a state of weakness, so we use our drug of choice and die. That's the disease of alcoholism. That's the disease of addiction. It wants us dead. Hot Boy Ryan says, anger is a feeling, resentment is a feeling that can trigger your physical nervous system, and then you want to drink to depress nerves, don't you think? Correct. It's cunning, baffling, and powerful. It works with your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and your sex drive. Trust me. It uses your sex drive sometimes. I've relapsed because I was lonely and horny. Don't get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, because your addiction is going to swoop right in on any of those emotions. You are very weak emotionally, and you have not the resolve when you're hungry. You have not the patience when you're angry. you have not the emotional stability when you're lonely, and you have not basically anything when you're tired to stave off the attacks of your addiction. The disease of addiction wants us dead. It is cunning, baffling, and powerful. You don't see it coming. When you learn one of its tricks, it comes out with another. It is a constantly evolving, because you and I are constantly evolving. Mentally, spiritually, if you're evolving, if you grow your spirituality, if you grow your program, if you learn from these ugly, messy situations like breakups, and if you learn from them and you grow from them, your chances of relapse diminish, and your chances for full-on recovery and a beautiful life increase. So tell me, viewer, what's your experience with resentments? Hashtag Holly, I'm glad to see you. Hot Boy Ryan, I'm glad to see you. Maybe I could fire up the old call-in, have Hot Boy Ryan on, see what's popping. Now, I remember when some of these streams had 30, 40 people on them. I expect there's not going to be too many people tonight because they probably thought Sober James relapsed and died. This is not true. What is true is I had a sick individual. We will do a podcast on relationships in recovery. I would say early recovery is dangerous, and it is, to date, get into a relationship. But all recovery, anywhere in the addict's life, anything that involves emotions is dangerous. Holly Ford, if you, I may not have optimized the search engine keywords properly, but also click the notification bell to get notified when I go live. I'll probably be doing it randomly, but I do it at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can bet your sweet little asses on that. So let's talk about this job. As you may know, a couple years ago or a year or two ago, I had a job at the post office, which I hated. I then got a peer support specialist certification and started working in recovery in a detox. That particular detox, small operation, kind of a popularity contest, of which I won. But I don't like popularity contests. And I wanted and needed something greater. I am now about to start a job as an alumni coordinator for Recovery Centers of America. It's got, I believe, 13 locations up and down the East Coast. I think it originated in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, or Pittsburgh. And I am going to be working with addicts and alcoholics like yourself and me to make sure they get to the proper type of 12-step groups, and also the proper guidance when exiting their treatment program. I apparently am going to be organizing events for people like yourself to enjoy time in recovery, enjoy time sober, to learn what does it entail to even socialize while sober. Because I still have trouble doing this from time to time. My entire social group is from the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. But one needs to, say, go hiking, pickleballing, or bowling every once in a while. So in this job, I'm going to be following up with clients that have went through the treatment program and helping them in their continued recovery and sobriety from their drugs of choice. I am super stoked about this job, people. I'll tell you a short story. I went in for an entry-level job as a recovery specialist where I'd be flipping beds and walking them to their groups and, entry level. I put Sober James YouTube channel, owner, curator, facilitator of, on my resume. They saw it and they brought me in for a third interview where the CEO, the director of administrations, the director of clinical, the director of admissions, and the director of recovery specialists was there. The CEO personally asked me if I'd be willing to do a podcast for Recovery Centers of America, and I bet you can guess what my answer was. So I brought up God earlier. In these 2 years, I've been handing my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him, trying to do the next right thing at all costs, no matter how hard. We're humans, people. We're not going to be pure as the driven snow. We're not going to be doing the next right thing 100% of the time. But we try and we seek. We seek through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand Him, praying only for the will of His and the power to carry that out. God's will be done, people. Not James's will, not Hot Boy Ryan's will, not Holly's will. God's will be done. Because you know what James's will does? Drinks. You know what James's will does? Mistreats people he loves, sometimes even the dogs he loves, which are the greatest people I know. I mean, have you ever gotten mad at your dog? You said the most outlandish things to your dog, and all it's doing is being a dog. Well, we're people. Anger is one of the 7 deadly sins. So, in the program, you learn that instincts gone haywire. Our instinct for social security, our instinct for companionship, our instinct for sex, our instinct for financial gain. These are all instincts that every human has, but they go crazy haywire in the addict. We want to feel super comfortable. We're not just content with having a roof over our heads. We want a mansion. We want more. That's the addict's problem. Ryan, you sound like you're in good spirits, brother. I gotta say, you sound very positive and very. I like the way you're sounding, man. How are you doing? And thank you. Yes, on paper, I'm not qualified. I don't have a bachelor's degree, but they saw this YouTube channel, they saw these podcasts, and they no doubt read your comments and the hundreds of thousands of comments on the videos over the past decade, and said, you know what, this guy is spot on what we need for an alumni coordinator. And they're not wrong. I'm not good at a lot of things, but if there's one thing I am good at, it's talking about addiction recovery and guiding addicts and alcoholics along the same path that I have taken. So if I'm good at one thing, it's this. And they saw it. Now I'm trying to remain humble. I am remaining humble. In fact, I'm not even going to celebrate until I'm in the office, maybe for a month, before I can be like, wow. But that's just fear. The alcoholic, the addict, we're filled with 100 forms of fear. Maybe even 101 forms of fear. But one thing I will do is get back into the swing of all this YouTube things. Make sure that the search engine optimization is optimized, and get more people available to hear the message of recovery and to read all of y'all's comments. So long story short, I've been through a hell of a couple of years. I have gotten blessed with this job opportunity. I've gotten, fired essentially. I've gotten a lot of things. Fired up is what I meant. I've gotten a lot of blessings, a lot of things since I've started handing my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. And there is, it seems, the payoff. Now, I'm not going to rant on, I'm not going to, ramble on and on. I'm sure you guys have places to go as well. We've covered resentments. We've covered why they're dangerous to sobriety and recovery. It's because of emotions. Our disease uses emotions to resend feelings, so it can get us in a state of weakness and kill us with a relapse, a full-blown physical relapse. So with that, it is so good to see you guys. Thank you for coming to my random, I'm streaming again, live stream. Holly, Hot Boy Ryan, the 7 of you out there watching from the shadows, I bid you a good night. I will see you tomorrow at the same sober channel, the same sober place, and the same sober time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. Peace.